Hi, sir. This is Jackie in the library, and I got your email about wanting to meet this Wednesday in preparation for finding research for your proposal that's coming up due. I'm pretty booked on Wednesday, I have to admit. I think the only time that fit in your schedule, I think maybe around 1:45 p.m. to 2 might work, so really not much time. So I thought I'd go ahead and make you some videos to walk you through your question. And hopefully this might be all you need, so we'll see. So I'm assuming here that you've been to the library homepage before and you have a library card when I do this. If you don't have a library card and you're an on-campus student, just come by the library, and as long as you have a student ID card, which you do pick up at Morrow first, pick up your student ID card at Morrow, come up to the library, and we'll create a library account for you. So you will need to do that first. I think you've been to the library homepage before, but in case you haven't, you'll just go to the college homepage, bluecc.edu, click on library, and here you go. And what we're going to do is scroll down to our library databases. And we're going to look at our top library databases. So it sounds like you've probably put some thought into this, and so, and if you're doing a research proposal, I'm assuming that you're, if not in writing 122 or 227, maybe in 121, but I'm assuming you're in one of our advanced writing classes. So we're going to spend our time in our advanced databases. So really quickly, I'm going to show you Academic One file, and then we will look at not just Academic Search Complete. We are going to use the EBSCO interface and search both Academic Search Complete and a database called ERIC, which is the Education Resource Inventory, something, I don't know, it's an education database that ERIC stands for, but it's probably kind of considered one of the preeminent education databases that we have. And so for your subject, of course, working on teachers and salaries, there's going to be a lot of relevant material in an education database. Okay, Academic One file. If you haven't used it before, people like using it in different ways. I think I prefer to use a search box, and people like going to this topic finder where you can plunk in words and try to find ideas, but you kind of have a topic. I think really what you'll need to work on at this point is refining your topic. So we're looking at teachers and salaries. So some of the things to think about there is first kind of maybe, well, I guess starting with synonyms. So you say teachers and salaries. So something else to think about would be, you might also want to say or look for information on teachers and wages, teachers and income, teachers and pay. So changing that word alone can make a significant difference. You might find yourself wanting to look at instructor level, teacher level. Are you looking at preschool teachers? Are you looking at elementary school teachers, high school teachers, college teachers? So you might find yourself wanting to scope that way as well. So something to keep in mind. And one other thing to think about is kind of your so what in this point. You know, we can certainly, and I'll go ahead and go, I'm just going to start with teacher salaries. And and you can see there's lots of things here that they kind of put in here, but I'm just going to go ahead and do this. One thing you might want to think about is kind of your so what. So are you, in your argument, are you hoping to say that, you know, a common argument is, does raising teacher salaries increase student performance or academic achievement? Does raising teacher salaries have a larger economic impact? So this is a huge part of our workforce in this country. Do generally increasing the level of income of that particular area of our workforce to have a greater boost overall in the economy? So you might want to start thinking of your so what, because that's going to help shape your conversation as well. So as you can add, just teacher salaries. In Academic One file, the default is academic journals. And again, if you're writing 122, 227, for sure you need to be spending probably a little bit more of your time on academic journals. Academic journals are also often referred to as scholarly, peer-reviewed, refereed. Refereed is used actually specifically in the education field to define peer-reviewed. However, not every journal, not every article in an academic journal is peer-reviewed. So for example, very common, you'll see book reviews. So the book review is published in a peer-reviewed journal, but it itself is not a peer-reviewed article. So, and then there's magazines, of course, and other resources. So we have about, almost 3,000 results. So something to keep in mind just to show you is this is a brief article, it looks like. Brief article, and this is 100 words. Coming down here, this is a book review. So keep that in mind. You might not want to, this looks good, but you might not, may not be useful. That's what I'm trying to say. And then you'll start seeing some other articles that might be interesting. So this is one way you can approach it, is you can just start with a search and then scope down. If you do find an article that you're interested in, you can go ahead and open it up. If this is interesting to you, you may have seen this, our tools are over here. You can email this article to yourself. You can download the PDF and save it to your computer. If you have a Google Drive account, you can just send it to your Google Drive. And you may have seen this, the citation tools right here. So you're using MLA. This is a sample citation that you would use. You would use everything, in this case, except the URL. If you were working with a website directly, not an article available through our databases, in that case, if it's from the web, you would use the URL. If it's from our databases, you do not use the URL. So it's just kind of one of those things to pack away and remember. Going back, search results. Let's do that one. The back feature doesn't work that well. So going back, you can also do some more limits at this point. If you're like, this is already too much, I want to scope this down. You could do a search within results. So if you want to look at teacher salaries and, students, you could certainly do that. You might want to change your date range here. So going from the from box here, you might want to go back, I would say to, I don't know, 2011, maybe 7 years. And then just click out of the, oops, you don't do that. 2011, so pick your year and then pick your date, and then to 2, and then you can just go ahead and, you can move it forward. If you did want to go to today, you could certainly do that. So you can narrow your search that way. One thing that automatically is cut out 2,000 articles, right? So we've gotten a little bit more current, which is good in this case. You can also look by subject heading. So again, if you are really interested in your so what here, if your so what is really about academic achievement, students have a different achievement level in their academic performance based on teacher salary, you would click here, and that's going to scope you down to the 44 academic journals that kind of address that issue of teacher salaries and academic achievement, and which can be very helpful. And then again, same thing, browse through the titles, pick what's interesting to you, and go from there. So, and if you decide that, well, I want to take out academic achievement, easy peasy, you just go up here and take it out. And of course, at any time you can change your search up here if you really wanted to look at teachers. And if we typed in wages instead, does that make a difference? And actually, that's really kind of fascinating. Teachers and salaries, you might remember, had 2,900 results. Teachers and wages has 9,000. Isn't that fascinating? So, which is nice. It gives you something to limit by. So again, you can limit by date. Subjects are over here. If you want to look specifically at wages and salaries, you can certainly do that. And that narrows it down quite a bit. Examining the link between teacher wages and student outcomes. Kind of interesting. Might be, again, if that's what you're interested in, kind of gets closer to that specific area. This is from 2000, so it's a little bit older, but, so it wouldn't have come up if we narrowed our search. It just depends. I mean, look at it, keep it in context of date, but there might be some good information in there. The other thing you can do is, I'm going to take out wages and salaries, because I want to show you one last thing. If you're at this big result level of 9,000 results, one of the final filters you can use is the topic finder, which is pretty cool. To be honest, it comes up in this tile format, which I hate. I like the wheels personally. But so in the core here is teachers and wages, your search. If you wanted to then look specifically at teachers and wages and students, this one says salary importance here. I don't know if you can read that. If you click there, it's going to take you to the 5 articles that this database has identified as being the most relevant to that scoped level. You can see salaries importance, but also United States is listed here if you wanted to focus on the United States for whatever reason. I think it can be very valuable to compare countries though, because when we assess performance, student performance, we do of course do it at the district level, but we also do it at the state and national level. So how are we performing nationally as a country compared to other countries? And does teacher salary impact that student performance? Okay, so that's enough on Academic One file. Going back to our databases, top library databases, we were just here in Academic One file. We're now going up to Academic Search Complete. And you might remember me saying that we're going to look at Academic Search Complete, which is owned by a company called EBSCO. Sometimes instructors will say do an EBSCO search. Well, within EBSCO, there's actually a ton of different databases. This is just kind of like the parent company. So Academic Search Complete is kind of the default because it's the biggest database. It covers multiple topics. If you're looking for something on engineering to teachers, you're going to find it in here. But there's also some more specific ones. So I'm going to just click here and choose databases. And so Academic Search Complete already checked. I can go ahead and check this ERIC box too. Now let me remind myself. Okay, the Education Resource Information Center. That's what ERIC stands for. That's right. Okay. So I'm going to go ahead and click OK. And same thing, teachers, you know, it's kind of our main subject here. That's our main kind of who. And this is where you can type in wages was really popular before. So in that last database, wages, salary, or income or pay. You can start right here if this is good for you. If you already know you want to focus on, you know, you might start playing with this. Do you want to focus on preschool teachers? Do you want to focus on elementary school teachers? You can, you know, try this out and play with this and see if that's getting you closer to what you want. So we have your basic concepts. And also at this point, you can hit search and then filter from there if that's what you prefer to do. Or you can add some more filters at this point. It just depends on if you're comfortable casting that wider net and then filtering, or if you want to be filtered right away. You know, that casting that wider net kind of exposes you to more things. Filtering can sometimes over-filter and you miss things. So there's pros and cons in both. I tend to be, I'm a wide net caster. That's my searching style, but your searching style might be different. So just be aware of that. I'm going to go ahead and hit search. And wow, tons of stuff. Well, again, right here, if you wanted to focus on preschool teachers, ta-da. But what we might do right away is similar filters that we did in the last database. We might want to go forward in time here. These go all the way back to 1906. We might want to get to the last 7 years or so. You know, it doesn't have to be perfect. You just move the slider kind of where you want. So now we're down to 3,000. Some other things that you can do is, at this point, you can just start browsing the articles. You don't have to waste time doing anything else at this point. But here's something right here. The teacher pay gap is wider than ever. Might be pretty interesting. Again, you can limit to academic journals. So if we click there, that would get us to those scholarly journals. You can also filter using these subject term things, which can be really helpful sometimes. So looking at teacher salaries, if we show more, again, we could look a little bit more at, I guess there's something with low-income students. That's kind of fascinating. I don't know what that would be about. There's something on academic achievement. So again, if you're looking at students' academic achievement, if we clicked here and clicked update, that would take us to the 57 articles that cover teachers' wages, salaries, income, pay, whatever you want to call it, with student academic achievement. So kind of interesting. I am kind of curious about this low-income student one. And then, and subject, you know, to be honest, I'm not sure what the difference is between these two. But again, I think this is a little bit more precise in some ways, where the subject heading kind of scans. Again, it casts a wider net because you can see academic achievement is right here. And there's 250 articles that match that. So anyway, one thing I want to show you with these databases is ERIC is a little bit different in how the articles come up. And I can see that this is coming from the ERIC database. It says so right here. And so I want to show you what those look like, because they are a little bit different. So from all the other EBSCO databases, over here on the left will be either a PDF link or an HTML link, or both. And ERIC is still available full text, but you have to go down here to find it. So you have to actually click on this link. That actually throws you into the ERIC database, which is a national database. And that's where you would go from here to download the full text, instead of the usual one, the usual way where, again, it'd be over here. And you've probably seen that before. So anyway, yeah, I hope that makes sense. It's really, I'm trying to find one that's not an Eric one, just to give you an example.